I wanted to talk about this week. Actually, I don't know if you guys know the company man. He actually dropped a video about the JID album, and he actually talked about what is a classic album in this generation in this time, just in general. What's the definition of a classic album? And I feel like hip hop fans say the words classic so much. Even when we were talking about rappers, we were comparing, classic albums to like, rings, so it's like Super Bowl rings. But I want to know what your guys' definition of a classic is. So, B, why don't you start? You tell us, what is a classic to you?
A classic is an album that there's different ways you think about it, but a classic is an album that's almost perfect. You ain't got a lot of skips, and the music stands the test of time. When you go back to it, it still sounds great. And then you have to have some level of notoriety in that regard too. I mean, it's got to be people got to know about it. It's got to be something that a lot of people remember fondly. I don't know what the line is for that, but I don't know if that's. But everybody got to have some love for the album. It's got to be universally loved at least, or loved by everybody in that particular area.
Okay, all right. What about you, President?
Give me 1 second. This is where we would transition to the pod. We're gonna edit all this out. I'm doing my scene change right now.
Oh, okay, all right. Wardrobe change,
Mm-hmm.
scene change.
Edited time.
None of this is getting edited out, man. This is all
Man.
great, great,
Yeah.
great content right here that you
Yeah.
Great
provide.
B-roll filter stuff. Sounds good, man.
So then I'll go ahead and say what I've always. So I've always thought. I mean, I just grew up, and you hear this album's classic, this album's classic, this album's classic, and I thought that um, it meant that it was an album that was still great in hindsight, like looking back on an album. Kind of like classic. The word classic, the definition of it, just a classic is something that is like stands the test of time or is seen as high quality over time. It's always
Hmm.
got that time element in any other context it's used. When we talk about classic movies or classic
Mm-hmm.
literature, but with hip hop, I realized that people say it like the year it comes out or
Yeah.
next year or
Yeah.
and even in the time when like going back, like most people consider things classic if it just got good ratings in like the Source magazine. So it wasn't like had to have this big time span before people started calling things classic. And so I find that very interesting because it doesn't fit the definition of the actual word. So what do you think, Chris?
To me, classic is something like if you say these 10 years of hip hop, what albums am I taking from this and gonna bring forward? So or any genre of music. It's just it has to stand out. It has to be something that you'll go back to. Replay value is huge for to define a classic to me. It's got to be something like I know I can see myself in 10 years playing this album for my kids or something like that. Um, and nowadays, I think classic albums are kind of albums that make the biggest moments. Like if you look at like Beyonce Lemonade or stuff like that, like that's gonna have a lot of staying power. I feel like people will talk about that. Um, SZA, Control, or yeah, that one's huge too. So I don't know. I can't think of a lot of hip hop classic albums in the last 10 years, though. Honestly, for me personally,
So this is so.
albums in general.
So I mean, I feel like Bryson, your and I, definition sort of, coincides, but like B, especially in this generation, I feel like albums aren't made to be perfect anymore. A lot of times
Exactly.
they're for the weekend, and then they kind of
Hmm.
disappear, and all that exists of that are the few singles that will get replayed. And so I don't even think most people like when I talk to like kids and stuff like that. I ask them what album they like. They usually just talk about the songs or the playlist that they have. They don't have like
Hmm.
they don't be listening to albums. You know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but that's kids. I'm sorry, I just don't give a fuck about no kids.
Mhm.
Like, I don't think these kids know anything that they're talking about, man. So, like, I'm not asking them what they think about albums. these kids think that NBA YoungBoy is a good rapper. Like, I
Yeah,
don't
but
want to hear
okay,
that shit.
all right, we can take the kids out of it. Even you, when I get it, if I get in your car, you never play an album. You always playing a shuffle music.
Oh, that's true. But I mean, I listen to the albums. I like to listen to the album and digest the album before I do that breaking up with it. So I do understand. I understand two different things, right? I mean, I grew up in the era of the album, make the album. The album is fire. So I don't play whole albums a lot because I like to get the different songs from a lot of different artists. But I love those songs. I listen to those songs a lot, and I really play albums when I'm in the album mode. I'm just not always in that mode. Not in my car. I'm never in that mode.
Yeah.
See,
The road trip. Road trip.
almost,
That's different.
Yeah, I was about to say when I go on a road trip, I have albums I go to for sure.
Okay, all right, yeah. See, I love listening to album. Like, you know, I just like, you know, a lot of times an album has a theme, it has a feel, it has a sound, and so a lot of times when I listen to music, I want to listen to just an album. Now, there's times when I mix up songs, of course, but I often just say, oh, let me listen to this album straight through. You know, I skip the songs I don't like or something like that, but I usually, you know, play albums. You know,
but I can't enjoy it if I'm only on the 20-minute car ride. Like, to me,
Exactly. Yeah, I don't like
so
that.
I want to play either my favorite song from that or my favorite song from something else, and then I'm about to be out the car in about 4 more songs. Like, it's not, I can't listen to a whole album, even though nowadays they are short. So that's why I have a difference. When I first turn them on, I always want to be at home, sitting in one spot, and I put the album on while I play video games or while I'm doing something else, where I really can listen to what they're saying. But then you can't do that all the time. In the car, I want to hear more up tempo type stuff, maybe. You know, or more focus on the rhymes, depending on what's going on. Road trips, it just depends. Like, it's just different. It's different all the time.
Yeah,
I
man.
don't know, man.
Oh, go ahead, bro.
Go ahead, Aaron. You're good.
All right. So yeah, I mean, it's just so the reason why I brought this up is because, man, but my thing is, you know, of course, you know, it's to hate, you know, of course, it's criticize. And what I want to criticize is just the fact that, man, when you go into these hip hop, I'm starting to realize that I feel like most hip hop fans, I feel like are stands. I don't meet very many just purely objective hip hop fans. They all have a artist or multiple artists that they just want to boost everything that artist does to classic level, you know. So, you know, there's the people who are the Jay-Z fans, you know. The Joe Budden podcast always calls themselves the whole Vengers, you know, and stuff like that. And, you know, and then they automatically, you know, the media comes out, he drops a verse and everyone's automatically like, oh, look, it's got to be one of his top verses all time.
Verse.
Start
rappers out here barring shit up, and they be like, "Oh, one verse." Oh,
yeah. You know, I don't even think it was necessarily the best verse on the album. You know, but you know, but that's what I'm saying. So people automatically start pushing it. You know, Nas fans. Some of these Nas fans, you know, think he's got 10 classics. You know, it starts to Kendrick fans. I'll have a whole episode about Kendrick one day, but. His fans say he got every album that he's dropped is classic. Some people
every album is a classic.
Yeah. Some people even saying that this current album that he just dropped, Mr. Morale, was classic. So, and I think that album's trash. So, it just becomes like, you know, oh, this is my favorite artist. They have 5 classics instead of it being like, you know, any sort of balance, and that's why I just feel like this word is like overplayed. It's lived its life.
Sure.
Yeah, it's over. You know,
it's overplayed for sure, man. I mean, people. Yes, you're right. People want to hype up the artists that they love. So whoever it is, they never admit their missteps. You know, that's silly. It's not how adults act. That's how little fangirl bitches act. But that's what they be doing out here. I mean, you see them. The people that's talking about that Kendrick album. That Kendrick album is straight garbage, bro. This shit is boring.
I'll never listen to it.
I'll never listen to that shit again. But there's a bunch of artists, like I said, I don't like. Look, I talk to people all the time. NBA YoungBoy lovers. They wear this dude merch nonstop. They swear that every crime he's accused of is a setup. I'm like, they swear that he's right to have all these baby mamas or whatever. Like, they be acting like everything this dude does is good, and his music is terrible, man. It's so bad. So I don't really understand it, man. Jigga fans talking about he got 5, 6 classics. What? What classics? None of them albums age
Yeah.
well. Very few of them albums age well. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Like there's so many dick riders out here, and that's they are. But a lot of people today they down with dick riders.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
the thing. That's what I just I mean and this this podcast is all about hating, of course. So we don't like that, but I just feel like, man, in the I don't know, in other genres, it just seems like there is more of a consensus, like these albums are great, and everyone who likes rock, likes these certain Beatles albums or, certain things. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just outside.
They're not as competitive. It's not as competitive genres though. That's the thing about hip hop. Right. So people want to boost their guy, just like people want to boost, I don't know, KD or LeBron, right? They want to say LeBron better than Jordan. They want to boost players. They want to boost these rappers too. And people pick the ones that they like. And there's like a few that people would accept as you being able to say your favorite. And then they want to boost them. They want to be like, that guy's never made anything wrong. This guy's never messed up. This guy might have messed up once or twice, but he has 12 classics. It's like, wait, what? So, that's how people do it out here because they want to be on a team. People want to be on a team. They don't want to be objective. That's what we're here for. Man. We got to give people the hate the right way.
So, but that's the thing. If it's supposed to be competitive, anything else that's competitive has to have standards or something that you judge by. That's what helps it be competitive. It's got to have some sort of objective standards. But but hip hop, I feel like lacks that. At one point in time, yes, maybe the source was the the gold standard. What they said in the in their ratings was the gold standard, and that was the the quote unquote objective resource that people judge by. But now we don't have that. Instead, everyone's got their own corner. Like you can have your own subreddit, and each individual subreddit or each individual subgroup is going to love their artist, and then just have a little echo chamber where they tell each other the fans tell each other these are all.
I don't really mind that. I appreciate that there's a lot of different subgenres in hip hop. I just don't care about some of these artists that people tell me are good. Like, okay, you tell me it's good, all right, so give me why are they so good? Let's see it. And when I listen to it, it should be good to everybody. Like it shouldn't be objectively trash. Like if you rhyming bitch with rich 50 times an album, why are you going to tell me that this person's a good rapper? Don't do that. So that's the type of stuff that I think you're right when you talk about standards. Where the standards at? People will say, a lot of guys I think that can't rap are great rappers. I don't understand that.
So this is the thing. So Bryce, I know you care a little less about you always seem to care more about entertainment than say content or lyrics or something like that. So when you think of a classic album for yourself, what makes it classic?
Ooh, like I said, replay value is a lot to me. I got to be able to listen to it for days. And like you said earlier, I don't think people try to make classics anymore. They'll look for even back in the day, they did radio song and this or that. But nowadays, people just want to be put on a playlist. So I don't think they're putting that effort in. Because a classic album at most can have, 15 songs on it, if that. They usually have to be shorter to me. Because, the shorter, the better the songs. Concise, have a point. But like I said, in hip hop, as far as hip hop goes, I can't think of 10 albums in the last 10 years that I would say are actually classics to me. Not many albums from hip hop in the last 10 years I'm going to visit like that all the time.
It's not supposed to be that many, man. That's the thing. It's supposed to be a few of the best stuff is classic, and everything can't be classic. So every time Kendrick come out with an album, people scream the classic. Every time J. Cole come out with an album, people start saying it's classic. It's not classic, man. It's not classic. Yeah. But what would you say would be a classic in this era? I think Daytona gotta be one.
I was about to say Daytona was my favorite album when that year. A lot of people didn't like those Kanye products, but I love that Daytona album a lot.
That Daytona album was great.
Everyone liked that one. I mean, a lot of people didn't like some of the others, but everyone liked that one.
All right, so but then that's one of the things I think that would make that a bona fide classic.
Daytona was a bona fide classic to me. She's 10 years. Let's see. Let me look up the best albums of the last 10 years and see if I get. Because, like I said, hip hop has been very hit or miss. I think they try least of all. It's not about self expression anymore. A lot of the hip hop people are trying to get big and stuff.
I think Gibbs got 2. Benny got 1 to me. I got something that I love.
So
wait,
that's what I was.
Benny's one?
I feel
Gibbs got 1.
Tanner Talk 3. Tanner Talk 3.
I feel like this. See, you know, people say that like they feel like the quality of music is lower in this era. I feel like there's lots of
I like that
great music that has been coming out. In the past 10 years and so on. I feel like there's plenty of artists, they're just not the mainstream ones per se. And then now you say this shouldn't be that many B, but when people look at the 80s and 90s, they'll list 100 different classics. I mean, in 1 year, sometimes you'll have, they'll have.
That's why it's a golden era, man. It's the golden era, man. That's what it is. That's the golden era. You had that greatness and you had the right combination of commercialism, but not to the point where it is now. So it was only a certain amount of stuff. You still had to go through. You had to be the best person in your hood to get on the damn radio, like before anybody knew who you was, and then you had to kill it then to be national. Like, so it was. You had all these people that was like, okay, and they were coming out and they would do styles and do stuff, different areas. Everybody was getting in. Stuff was getting creative. It's not as creative now. Part of that is because a lot of stuff has been done. So this is why you think of the 90s era. They had all types of rappers. The sound will change, but there's not tons of stuff that you've never heard before. And so it's difficult for rappers to keep making classics that's on par with those. When we think back, we heard Tupac do that. We heard X, Y, whoever it was do that.
Well, I think it's less about the, everything's been done. I think that everything's just very homogenized right now, like we talked about in the last episode where, there's only a certain type of thing that gets marketed and gets pushed. And if you're not doing that thing, then you're not you're just not, no one knows about you. And so I feel like it's less that there's not different types of sounds, but more that only the one sound is the one that people are looking for. Only the one sound is the one that gets marketed or pushed. Everything has the same trap beats. Everything has that, whereas, in other eras, there was, some people over here doing jazzy stuff. Some people over here doing, there's just so many different sounds, so many different things. Some people over here playing with the band, and then, Public Enemy's got, like it's like all rock and influence and different stuff. There's all kinds of different stuff. And I don't think that's what's.
But I think there's a lot of people doing different things. I just think that everybody's not doing it to that same level. I mean, like, there's not a lot of Dr. Dre's out here. Like, there's good beat makers, but we haven't heard stuff that it sounds like the Chronic, like that classic level. And sometimes you hear it, because Kanye is out here, and when Daytona came out, the first song, you turn that shit on, it's like, like what the hell is this shit? This shit is stupid hard. Like kind of right away. I first turned that album on, and the first bars that dude was spitting on the album, and then that beat going, I was like, whoa, this shit is great. Yeah. So this shit out here, there's people out here that make stuff like that, but it don't always hit you that way. I mean, again, that's how I felt like when I heard Pinata the first time. So there's certain things that's like that. Other stuff don't match that. But I mean, who can you think of somebody where you had that feeling besides Daytona? Because we agree on Daytona. So what other albums you think give you that feeling in the last 10 years?
I mean, I'm a big fan of Lupe's last 2 albums.
So you had the feeling to the level of, like I said, like something like that.
So now here's the thing, and this might be controversial, but for Daytona, when you talk about those first three songs, yeah, I'm
Mhm.
like all about it. But I don't really like some of the other songs. Infrared is
Oh,
just okay, and
oh,
Hard Piano I actively dislike.
oh,
I actively dislike Hard Piano. So
oh.
if five of the
I
songs,
love
five of the
that
songs,
album.
Our
songs is
piano
great.
is so good.
I don't
And
like Hard Piano.
I love that
Santeria.
album.
Santeria is great. I love Santeria.
Santeria, yeah.
It's to
Yo,
me is if you know games we played, Santeria. I love those three songs. I'm like are amazing. I play those constantly in my rotation, but I actively skip Hard Piano, and
mm.
and what would Meek do? I
Oh, I
skip that
like
too.
what would Meek do.
It's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad. I just
Yeah,
it's not. If it comes on my shuffle, I probably skip it.
man.
And then Infrared is cool, for what it is. It's cool, but it's not.
Oh no, man, that album. I don't know. Like BJ said, you get that feeling. Like you could tell they was locked in. Like, all right, this is great. I feel like when you start making great music with somebody like that, and you just got that rhythm, and they're on the same beat. Some albums you could
And,
just tell it just feels like
I mean,
they was
that's
locked in.
yeah, man. I feel the same way about Fly God. I feel the same way about Pray for Paris. I feel the same way about Tana Talk 3. There's other, and then there's songs individually that I love like that. Like a lot of the Alchemist beats, because that just hits me a certain way. I'm just a big fan of
Yeah.
it. But certain people's stuff out here, and I love certain songs, but just not the whole album maybe as much. And that's the thing. That's why those albums are not particularly classic, but they'll have a bunch of great songs on it. So when I do shuffle it around, I got a lot of good stuff.
So all right, so yeah, I mean, because I like me, I like a lot of the Griselda stuff, but eventually, it all starts. Sometimes I listen to all those stuff, and the beat sound start to blend together to me. It'll be like no drums, like I'm like. To me, in that production is almost contrast, almost opposite to like if you know type of production where it's just like boom, hitting you in the face, like like you said, it comes on and you're just like, wow, what is this? That sometimes that stuff is more like
It hit in a different way though. I feel like I
Yeah,
don't
like
know.
I love that stuff too.
That's
And
different
the first
types of
time,
music
like
to
I said,
me.
first time I heard Tana Talk 3, I turned that
Yeah.
on, and it was just like, I forgot what the first song is. I gotta look at the list, but when I got this shit like 97 Hove, I was like, oh shit, this shit is extra. Fucking Broken Bottles. Like, I was like, damn, this is the album. That's why I was so disappointed by Tana Talk 4. People talk about how good it is. I'm like, it ain't hitting to me.
I think
Pray for
it's
Paris
better
does that to
lately.
me. The first time I heard Fly God, this one I really started getting on them. I was like, yo, what is this? Like, this dude is a whole different cat.
To me, the Freddie albums are bigger. To me, like the Freddie
I
albums are
agree.
better than all the Griselda stuff, in my personal opinion.
That's fair.
Because I love Freddie's delivery and stuff
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Just he always was rapping with a great flow and with bars and to me it's
Yeah.
always entertaining because of, and this is part of the thing. To me, I find the rapping part more entertaining usually in all like albums that I love. Like if I list my favorite classics or whatever, to me it's the rapper that makes it more entertaining than the beat, in my personal opinion. Usually, not. I mean,
That's
of course, you need
100%.
both. You need both. Like,
Gotta
of
have
course,
both.
you need
Yeah.
both. You gotta have both. If it's a whack beat, it doesn't matter. But to me, it's always I'd rather hear a great rapper on a mediocre beat than hear a mediocre rapper on a great beat. If that makes sense.
Depends on how great the beat
Oh.
is.
I was about to say it depends. Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
Okay.
I can
So
listen to a
for
song just for the beat. It don't even matter what they say.
I mean, think about it. Like I love one of my favorite songs, "Let Me Ride." That beat is so good. Dre is not rapping good on that song, but it's like
Yes,
so when
yes,
that
that's a
beat
great
come on, you're like,
great example.
like, oh shit.
A
So
more
it's just
modern,
not the same.
a more modern one is "Icon." I love "Icon" by Jada Smith. I'm a big fan of that song.
That's your song, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of
Right.
that.
Oh, you like that beat?
Yeah, I love
Right,
that.
I love
I like
that
that
I think
album.
that beat is
I
amazing.
love that album.
I like that album. Yeah, I like the Jada
I
Smith
like
album.
That's funny, man.
But I think that beat is amazing. To me, I think that beat is
I just like the kind of I like the song, but I don't know much about it.
That beat is crazy. No, that beat is
Yeah,
crazy.
the beat is cool. I never listened to his whole album.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
like that album.
that's far and away his best song to me, in my opinion.
No,
But
I agree with that.
I don't. Okay, so I don't. All right, so what's an example of? I'm trying to think of an example of just like amazing. Okay, so to me, like, what about a song like? Mm,
I mean,
what you trying to
so
say?
a song like "A Thieves in the Night." Okay,
Yeah.
is it's not the beat's
Nah.
not that's special, but to me the rapping is amazing.
Yeah, but I think that beat sets it up nicely for you to put that type of rapping down. So like they really go in. The beat has a nice melody and it keeps the pace, and then they flow perfectly on it. So that's and again. Of course, I listen to I love Rock Marciano, and you talk about drumless rapper. He stay on that non-drum stuff, but the beats be working for his style. Like everybody can't get on that and sound good. So it doesn't. The different types of beats. I like to hear the variety.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, I love.
Some
Man, I grew
rappers
up on
got their
Manny
pocket
Fresh and
though.
shit. Like,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
but
you gotta have. It's all about how it goes together, man. Because like
that's
Juvenile, 400 Degrees is a great album, right? Classic.
yeah.
He's not a great rapper, but the shit he be saying is like it does stick in
I
your
think he is
head.
a good rapper. I mean, I think he's a good rapper, but yeah,
I
he's not
say
like
great.
the number
He's
one
good,
rapper. Yeah.
but you would
He's
never
good,
say he
yeah.
had these great bars. He's in the Scarface
Not a
lane
lyricist.
where he's gonna hit you with something that's like you feel that shit.
Mm-hmm.
When
Yeah.
he says it. Well, then he has a way to connect with people. And then, again, Manny Fresh beats are so fire. It really elevates that to the next level. So, that's how it goes on. So that's how it is sometimes. That's okay.
I mean,
But
yeah,
that's weird though. Hold on. So like with Benny, a lot of what was it? Was it Tana Talk 4? Or you try no, it was part 2 of one of his albums.
Plugs
Hit
I met.
Boy.
Plugs I met too.
Yeah, Plugs I Met part 2. I hated it. It sounded completely different than anything he's ever done. It just wasn't
It
in
had
that
more trap
pocket.
songs. You talking about the one where they had 2 Chainz on it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So a lot of people critique artists for staying in their lane, but I think I like that better when artists stay in their certain lane in their pocket and just ride that to me. So
You can't blame an artist for trying new things, man. My thing is Benny flow is not that different despite whatever the beat sound like.
yeah.
yeah, that's
So it
true.
don't
I
go as
think
well.
to me,
That's
if
all.
the artist is gonna try different things, they have to be versatile.
Right.
I think,
So like
and-
Conway could rap over different type of things like that, but Benny
Yeah.
does not change too much. And some people like him, a lot. I prefer Conway because of that, because Conway really get on any type of beat. We heard him on trap,
Yeah, Conway go
heard
crazy.
him with Alchemist, heard him with Hit Boy, heard him with whoever. He really
Yeah.
mixes stuff up.
So what the company man did his video on was the JID album, and so I'm interested in what you guys.
Listen to that.
To me, the biggest thing about the album is that it's so versatile. I mean, he's got songs
I
where
like
he's
it a lot.
singing and it's soulful and slow.
I didn't listen to
He's
it
got
yet.
songs that are fast paced, and and he's doing his super fast paced rhyming.
I like that a lot, man. That album's really good.
So I like it
I
a lot.
don't know
Yeah.
about classic. I didn't get that feeling like the first time I turned it on. That don't mean that it won't stick around me forever, man. I mean, the artist that I have that's like that is like Sky Zoo. Sometimes I listen to his album the first time, I won't necessarily love it. Then I'll listen to it again and be like, wait, I missed like this bar, that bar, that bar, and that bar. I fuck with this song more. And then I'll listen to the album again and be like, how did I not like feel this immediately? So there's different types. Yeah, it happens sometimes. It's not every artist, because I think, especially like Sky Zoo, his lyrics are dense. And so you could miss what he's saying easily. And then that's what comes around to you maybe missed how cool the bar was. And I love that aspect. And that's one of the things I do like about Lupe stuff. I do love Droga's Wave now more than I did when I first heard it, because the song is so crazy. Like, the concept is so crazy. I never heard no shit like that before.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but so this is the thing. I feel like sometimes what it comes down to is that almost like people like the rapper's personality almost more than the music. Like, and if you're judging based on your favorite personality, your favorite artist, then there's no way to be objective about it, because
I don't know. I'm like that too. With West Coast rappers, I hate that fucking accent. So it's like it'd be harder for me to get on West Coast music. So I hate that accent so much. Like Snoop, oh man, as a kid, I hated listening to Snoop because I
Huh.
just can't stand their accent. So it was harder for me. Like Nip, I started to love his music after he passed away because I made myself listen to it. I was like, I'll just have to deal with the accent. But yeah, man, West Coast rappers, they got a hard task for me. I can't
Yeah, it
stand that
never
accent,
never
man.
bothered. I never even noticed the accent you're talking about, man. It never bothered me.
I hate the way
It's
West
to
Coast
me, it's
people
less
talk.
about accent. It's more about cadences. Are the biggest thing for me. If people who rap to be in if I think your cadence is boring, then I don't want to listen to it. To me, that's what. To me, when we talk about the beats and the rhymes going together, it's about the cadence of the
I
rhymes.
was just
Like,
about to say,
you
even if
know,
your cadence is terrible, you can find a song that fits your pocket.
right, exactly. But you got to be in that pocket of that music, and so I
Yeah.
feel like it's got to go. It's the cadence plus the beat going together,
Yeah.
in a way, and people who rap to me, people who rap off beat or off, they flows not right. I don't that to me. There's nothing ruins a song more than
Depends
you
on
not
your
in the
style.
pocket.
Like Doom be off pocket, and it works. I don't really know why his stuff ever works because sometimes I read it or I look at it and I'm like, that don't work, but it worked great.
But I don't always
Yeah.
love every Doom song. I'm a Doom fan. I love Doom.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't always love every Doom song for that reason that you're talking about. I don't always feel like I can rap along and have fun with the Doom song as much as some other songs. If that makes sense.
Okay. All right, man. Well,
But
I
I mean, we kind of got sidetracked off the whole thing. But my thing is, I think the word classic has no meaning now. I just think it has no meaning. If everyone uses it for everything, it now means nothing. And I think when we talk about, because so often when we talk about who's the greatest artist of all time, things like that, we mention number of classics. Like that's like the number one thing we talk about. And I feel like now that argument, like everyone just says, oh, the person got this many classics, and they just say that, of course, to just push their, like you said, to boost their artists, to make them more competitive. And I just feel like we no longer have a objective standard that allows us to use that measure. It's cool for measuring people from the year 2000 on, but I feel like anything past the year 2010, there is just no objective measurement of what's classic, what's not. The radio, is not as big anymore. Everyone's got their own playlist. Everyone's got their own thing they listen to.
It's
And it's just
streaming,
no
dog.
measure, okay, number of streams, but that's still
No, I'm saying that's what killed the
Yeah.
classic album streaming. Because people don't buy albums anymore, so they can listen to any one song off of this. Me personally, I hate Future, but somebody would be like, "This song is fire." I'll go pick one song, and that's the only Future song I'll listen to. And okay, I like that. But I mean, some people get 7 songs, 10 songs off the album. They're like, "Oh, this is my whole playlist. That album's a classic," even though he had 30 songs on there. But these 10 songs gonna bang. So I don't think people care about, like I said, the artists don't care about classics and their fans don't care about classics because nobody's comparing their artists to each other like that. Like nobody's saying NBA YoungBoy is better than Future or this or that. Like I don't think that's a thing, personally at least. But classics don't matter that much, man.
They got people out here that love Young Boy. They got people out here that love. I mean, I don't think it's bad that people got different versions of what they like in hip hop. Like I think that's good. So if you want to be a fan of one thing, cool. If you somebody else, you're a fan of something a different thing. That's cool. Like I'd rather them have more subgenres than like everybody is riding one thing.
right.
So
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
old. I don't want to hear the shit that little young children listen to, even though it's hip hop. I don't want to hear that shit. It's not really the same shit I want to hear. I want to hear dudes with bar work skill. I want to hear Black Thought.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I want to hear somebody that got some kind of skill and something to say. These dudes want to hear turn up, jump up and down. Like little, clowns. That's when I talk to young people, that's all they want to hear is, oh, but I don't get hype when I hear this. I'm like, I don't want to get hype all the time.
I disagree in some ways because someone like Tyler the Creator is huge.
Tyler's he's huge with a different age group.
Yeah.
With my high school high school kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I
They
like some Tyler. I like Tyler songs. So, I mean, I think he's more in between. Like, I'm talking about younger people, with like a young boy. To me, these dudes garbage. There's some other dudes that's like, people they love Nardo, Wick, they love Kodak. These
Shout
people
out to
talk about
Nardo.
Kodak like he Wayne. You know what I'm saying? Like we talk about Wayne,
They
they talk
do
about
talk
Kodak like
about.
that. And I'm like, what is it? I don't see it. You
yeah,
know?
I don't see
And
it.
I think Kodak has good songs. I've heard some Kodak songs. I was like, I really like it, but
Yeah.
I don't feel it on that level. And I'd be surprised when other people do. And so that's cool. If that's what you listen to all day, great. Don't bother me while I'm over here in the corner listening to this Rock Marcy.
Yeah.
But
So, but then that takes away the competitive part of hip hop. So when we talk about it being
That's
competitive, are we
bingo.
only talking about?
I'm
So
about
you're
to
saying
say
that's
they
gone.
know who they're competing with though. These like your favorite rappers don't consider these kids' favorite rappers in their same lane. They're not competing
Right,
with them.
right,
So they are in their own subgenres. Royce knows who he compares himself to and
right.
who he wants to be compared with.
Yeah,
So
So then that makes hip hop, basically splintered by age is what we're saying. So there is the kids hip hop, and then there is
I don't think so. I don't think it splinters just by age because there can be a new rapper who might earn the respect of Royce and the
Oh, yeah,
OGs and
yeah.
stuff like that. So I don't think it's an age
But I'm
thing.
talking about audience. I'm talking about age of audience, not age of the rapper.
I don't know. I don't know, man. Because
how many
like
people that
music,
look? You're younger than me, so when you
mhm.
listen to who is somebody that you would say is the universal person that's of your age, and then who is the universal person of a younger age?
That's what I'm saying. Like that's hard for me because I don't know where it changed. Because after Drake, like I can't think of new rappers that I like. Like I can't think of a new rapper besides Cordae.
How old
But
is
who
Jaggy?
else?
I don't
Oh,
know.
Jid, yeah. He might be 25, 26. He's young
Okay, we
too.
can look
He's a
that up
young
real
bro.
fast, but okay, so I
Yeah.
mean, he would be the best young rapper I could think of.
I like Cordae too.
I do like Corday, but I still would put
Okay.
Jid over him.
Jid is 31.
He's 31.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's not it.
And Cordae's
So I'm trying to think.
25. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I did like Corday's last album, so I would put him
But
as a young person I like. So he's gonna be much more than, but he's not getting love like that from people his age.
Well, he dropped his album so long ago. Now that album came out a while ago.
Okay, but
yeah.
what I'm saying
And
is, did
he's
you
pretty
hear about
popular
that
though.
tearing it up? Is he okay? Cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad to
He's
hear.
pretty popular. It might be more because
I
his
don't know what you
girlfriend's
mean by pretty
super
popular.
famous.
So that's
But
if we can't name somebody new though, we still haven't named anybody new. We still
I mean,
not
we
named
said
anybody.
somebody that's
that's why I
25
don't
years
know
old,
any.
man. But
Yeah,
younger than
Cordae is
25,
about.
I can't think of him.
Yeah.
Like I don't
I
know who
can't
it
think
is.
any. Maybe Lil Baby, like, but he got to be older than that too. But Lil Baby's 27. They say he got next. But that's what I'm saying. I don't know any these young rappers like who are great. I don't know. I don't feel it. I don't think anybody feels it. There's not NBA YoungBoy is it.
We're saying hip hop is splintered by age of audience and age of rappers.
Uh, I I don't think. I don't know, man. I can't. When you think about music, I think music is a social thing, very much so.
Mhm.
So I only listen to the music I listen to, or most of it is because you listen to it and you put me on, and there's what your friends listen to. Um, but at parties and stuff is where I got the other half of my music taste is because oh these were girls like this is what everybody my age is listening to. This is what gets the party going. Everybody having a good time. So when these kids go to these parties and hang out with their other friends or see what their friends are listening to on social media, like most people don't post their oh I'm listening to this conscious rap or this introspective stuff like that on their social media. There's always the turn up having a good time type of music. So I think that's just what it is. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but
I'm
like
trying
I
to think.
said, the emo rappers are the ones that are big too. So it's not just turn up stuff. It's the emo rappers are huge.
But are they big? Are they doing the same numbers like NBA YoungBoy, or are they doing the same numbers as I don't know, Lil Baby, Lil Durk, like they're not. I don't think they're as big. Like the
I mean,
XXX was big,
yes,
but I don't
XXX
know.
was big, Juice World, all that
You
stuff's
muted.
huge. What do you mean? The emo rappers are the biggest. I mean,
Y'all can hear me?
yeah.
Yeah, they love that
Okay.
dude. They love that dude. XXX.
Yeah. So as I'm saying,
But
the
was
emo
he big
rappers
like
are
that
big.
before he
Yes,
passed?
he
I
was
knew he was
big.
big.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. Look
before
at
he
me.
died.
They was going. Yeah, he was big, big, big.
Yeah.
I had
So
a student. I had a kid that I saw run up in the place I was at, and was like, "Hey, I can't believe the man was crying tears, straight tears."
Mm,
yeah.
I was like,
I
"Dang."
believe it.
So I don't know,
Um,
man. I just feel like we should stop using this classic term all the time. We should stop holding it as the standard of who makes what makes the best artist, this, that, or the other. Because I can say, my artist has 5 classics, and I can say your favorite artist has 0 because I don't like any of his music. I mean, it's just there's just no objective measurements anymore. I feel like, and so I don't know. I just don't know what way to measure the music objectively. But
I think it's easy, though. I don't know, because when you talk about groupthink and stuff like that, back then there was only one outlet or very small outlets like the source and
mhm.
stuff like that. Now everybody has an opinion. So before, when you're like the source says, "Oh, this album is a classic," all right, I guess everybody thinks that. So let me listen to it, and then I'll eventually like it because everybody listening to it, everybody says it's a classic. Now, if you don't like it off first listen, you're like, all right, that's trash. I'm gonna find other people who thought that was trash, even though you don't give it a full the justice that is due. That's another thing. We don't live with the albums as long as we're supposed to, I think.
But they only
Some
last a
albums.
weekend. That's what I'm saying. But if we don't live with them, it's because the music's not good enough. If the music stuck to
I
you, it will
agree.
stick to you. And
That ain't
that's
the
the
only
thing.
reason, man. That ain't the only reason. The music, the new albums coming so fast. So many people.
Yeah,
People don't live
that
with. You
too.
don't live with it like you used to. You listen to it, and then you be like, okay, cool, that was good. That was real good. I liked it. Where I would give an album a chance to grow on me in the past, but I remember, man, if you bought a CD, you had to rock with that. Like
Yeah,
you wasn't just throwing it away. Like you was like, yo, at least because I didn't have a ton of money, so I would listen to the CDs a few times before I was ready to move on. Like I couldn't go
yeah,
buy a new one right away. It was like you had to go to the record store again and buy another album. So,
yeah,
and then even when I burned CDs, it was like, this is the one I brought with me today. This is the one I'm listening to today. This is the one I got in my car. This is the one I'm listening to. And so you
yeah.
play it a few times. Now it's like, I don't need that shit no more. Oh, I ain't like this one song, skip it. Oh, I'm 30 seconds in, I don't like this song, skip it. Like,
Yeah,
it's like you just don't have to give it no
exactly.
burn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, I get that, but that's what I'm saying. So is it so you don't think the music quality is lower? You just think the our it's ourselves, our
Ear.
habits have changed.
No, I mean, I would agree to the quality for who? Like, this year, how many good albums came out? Because I think there's a lot of good albums that's been out this year. Now, are they
Mm.
classics? No, but I think that's hard to determine right away in the year. Some of them could grow into being classics, but I mean, just in the last 12 months, I think there's been a lot of fours, a lot of good albums that's been out.
Yeah,
A
but
lot of
this is
great
my thing.
songs,
Okay,
just not great complete bodies of work.
and this is where I disagree, man. I think it's like yeah, a lot of great songs. You're right, but like you said, not a lot of great complete bodies of work. And this is my issue. When you say a lot of fours, I think there's not a lot of fours. I think that there's really probably 10 albums maybe that are quality worth like you said, replay value, make you want to come back to for the majority of the album, not just like a few songs here or there. And then I think, well, people push it and say it's good quality. People hype it and say, "Oh, I want my favorite to be a 4 or whatever." And we don't ever just say, "Man, that album's trash" or "that album's mid." Like the Kendrick album, going back to that, or going back to so many of these albums that I feel like people talk about, even if it's in different types of camps, even whether it's in, it could be in the Griselda camp. Like they dropped 58 albums, but we never say, "Hey man, this album just wasn't it." This album is just
Mm.
mid. This album's a 3, you know. But
No,
no, it's gotta
I
be
think
like
that people say that.
people.
I mean,
Some people will, and
Yeah.
others will be like, no, it needs to be before this Pusha T album. We talked about Daytona being a classic. This Pusha T album is most definitely not classic. It is definitely
100%.
It
but
is
people not saying
Mid.
that that's classic.
people saying his album of the year. Push was
That's
pushing
because
that to
he
be
said
album
it's
of the
album of
year.
the year, and he has Dick Riders like everybody else.
And that's
And
what I'm
he
saying.
deserves them because he's a top rapper. Do I like it? No. But just this year, man, you don't think you said there's 10 good albums. I mean, what are you saying is good? What is good in your opinion? What do you put as good?
Like we said, worth going back to and listening to. Worth replaying.
Worth going back and listening to. That's a lot of albums.
Worth replaying.
Bro, just this year, you have Corday's album.
Cordae dropped the album this year?
This is 22, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking on Wikipedia, man.
Cordae dropped the album this year? How did I miss that?
That was the one in January.
It's got. I was about to say it got to be early. Yeah,
It was early in the year.
And then
hold on. So you had that. That album was good. You had Do or Die 2. That album was good.
I listened to
You
that.
had, I think there's some other albums that came out good. That's just in February, right? So Currency and Alchemist. I think that album is very, very good.
That album's good.
I think Conway the Machine's album is very good.
I think
that Earth Gang album
is
good. I don't think it's great, but I think it's good.
I don't like a lot of their style. So
okay.
that's just a me thing. But yeah, I don't.
I mean, I'm just trying to go through. Like, this is just the first couple of months. I think that Denzel Curry album is good.
Yes.
I think there's more and more. Like, we're just in the first couple months of the year. I just think there's other people that drop good albums.
So
the Black Star album is good.
I think that album's great. I love that album. I love that album a lot.
So,
but to me, like, that's an album that stands out to me. That's an album I feel like I would go back to, in years to come or whatever.
I love that Currency and Alchemist album. I'll go back to that a bunch of times.
I think that album's great. Album's great.
I think that Lupe album is very, very good.
I think that's another one that I love. But again, I love Lupe. So
okay. I mean, this is. I'm not naming that many. I think that Joey Badass album is good.
No, that album's boring. That album's
I like
trash.
a bunch of songs on there, man.
I think that he. Okay, so I'm a big fan of Before the Money. We went to the Joey concert or the Pro Era concert.
I went to the Joey concert
after that. And the thing about that album. And, a lot of it was, full of energy, got a lot of energetic songs, when I think of songs like, Crash Concerts or so many songs where he's just like rapping aggressively. He does not have that on this album. He sounds boring. And
okay, all right, cool. So, all right, you said it's not
also
good.
Sound,
I like a bunch of the beats on it.
I mean,
but what about that cheat code?
I like cheat codes. But I could say similar things about the Black Thought album as well. Whereas I feel like he's not as aggressive as, say. Do you think? Okay, this is a question. I love like Aquamarine. Do you think his last album, Thought, the Thought Volume, I forgot what you call it. Streams of Thought. Yeah, Streams of Thought Volume 3. It had State Prisoner on it. Do you think that he's rapping with the same energy as on that he rapped on like State Prisoner on any of these songs on this album?
I haven't heard that album.
Oh man.
Yeah, what'd you say?
Something wrong,
man. All right.
I mean, I don't know if he's rapping with it. I thought he had plenty of energy. I mean, I don't know how to say if the energy was weak or not. I thought it had great energy. I like the beats. I like the way he's writing.
Oh, I agree. I'm not this album. To me, that album's one of the best albums this year. I'm just saying, like, okay, when I think of a song, like, okay, my favorite, Black Thought songs, like, are songs like, Game Theory, Boom, Double Trouble. There's songs where he sounds energetic, and then there's other times where Black Thought can sound more monotone, if that makes sense.
I hear what you're saying, man. I mean, I like the album. I like the way it sounds on this album. I mean, it's similar to how I feel when I listen to like Currency. I mean, I love the way he talks. I love the way he's doing it. So I feel different about it. I mean, I don't know. If you don't like it, okay. But,
I'm dislike. I'm not saying that's what I'm saying.
But okay, I'm not saying these albums are all classic. I'm saying all these albums are good. And I think there's some other ones that we didn't go through, but I think those albums are good as well. And if all those albums are good, then it's not a bad year. I mean, certainly you're not lacking in something. So I'm not sure. Like, how many classes do you think should come out every year?
No. I'm not saying that all these albums be classic. I like Cheat Codes. I want to make that clear. I love Cheat Codes. I think that's an album I would go back to. That's his Black Thought's best album. I think hands down his best solo album is what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I think hands down, easily. I love a lot of the beats. I love a lot of the songs. I think it's great. His bars are great, like always. So what I'm just saying is, to me, of albums that stand out, something like the JID stands out for all the variety and stuff like that. Certain other albums sound like, like I said, to me, can blend together or can be forgettable. That's all I'm saying. So a lot of these albums, I think, to me, I call them, when I said it's mid, I feel like, man, your album, like the Joey album, I just feel like, it's mid. Like, it's just a lot of songs that just couldn't, I take them or leave them. They didn't stick to me. They didn't make me want to replay them. That's what I'm saying.
All right. So then, again, when you talk about the album, I mean, the music quality going down, what are you looking for? Like, what do you think is a good year?
Oh, I never said music quality going. I'm saying
okay. Right.
that in any given year, I think that there are only so many albums that come out that I'm going to keep replaying. Anybody. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't matter what you listen to. Like, I have my own personal thing I listen to. And I'm saying that in any given year, there's only so many albums I'm going to replay. Right?
Yeah.
So for sure. I don't think it's that much different than, like you were saying, there's only so many albums you would buy in a certain time. Only so many albums you would go out and buy. So to me, it's no different. Now, I might listen to every album that comes out, but there's only so many I'm going to replay that I love that I'm going to replay. So I don't think that's the reason why we can't have classic albums, because if you still loved an album, you would still replay it. If that's what I'm saying. There are people who still love the Kendrick album, and they are still gonna replay it, even though I don't.
You're replaying Mr. Morale. That is a terrible album.
I agree, but
I play Pinata all the time. So people don't feel that. I don't know what to say. I mean, I listen to Pinata all the time.
I listen to Alfredo a lot.
8 years old now.
I listen to Bandana a lot. Yeah, I listen to all those.
I just go back to R&B a lot.
I listen to a lot of R&B too. I listen a lot of Snow Allegra.
I don't listen to no R&B.
So
yeah, we're gonna have an R&B episode talk about their classics.
So I'll let you go ahead and talk about that. Gambling and R&B be your domain.
But my thing is
in F1.
I mean, okay, so my issue, if we an album like I said, again, going back to other classics today, and albums like Illmatic or whatever, these big impactful albums, do those exist today? I don't think they do. I don't think that they do. They only exist for the small percentage of people who love that artist in their corner, but they don't have a larger cultural impact like old albums did. And so
Daytona did.
No, that's not true. Oh yeah, I think certain albums do. Like I said, that Lemonade came out. That was insane. The SZA was insane. The certain artists do break through where the whole culture grabs them. Like, all right, this album is insane. Like,
So Daytona, Lemonade, Scissor Control. I guess if that's what we're thinking of, then I guess people are gonna say every single Kendrick album.
Yeah, people will say every single
it.
Kendrick album. Yeah,
and that's it.
Here's what they say.
Right.
They wrong. I mean, what you can't help everybody, man. People say stupid shit.
To me, that definition for classic just means the artist with the biggest fan bases, whatever they drop, they have the biggest cultural impact.
That's not true. SZA didn't have any
shit on Drake every time. Drake come out with his mid albums, people shit all over him. Bryson does the dances on TikTok, but everybody else be like, "Yo, what is this? This shit's trash."
Yeah, I like all Drake albums.
All right. Well then, I mean that's cool. It's good. I appreciate you guys, sharing your perspective on it. So what else do we want to talk about before we close out here today?